Welcome back. You're here again with Sam. I'm super excited for this one. This is what I call a bit of a holy grail truck. Super original paint, lots of nice original details, great history. Let's just jump into it and I'll tell you all about it. It's a 1995 300 TDI station wagon. I believe it's some sort of European county specification because inside it's got the panelling, headliner, which is nice. A lot of them don't have that. A lot of the Italian market vehicles don't have it, for example. It came from Bourg Saint-Maurice, which is southeastern France, near the Italian border. I mean, you wouldn't recognize it if I showed you photos of it when it came into us. It had been parked up in a garage, I think at least 5 years. It's been French new. It was delivered by Land Rover SAS, which was the Land Rover's French distribution company back in the 90s. Registered in February 96, but a 95 production vehicle. Don't hold me to it, but I believe it was a maybe a November, December build. Finished in Portofino red. It's actually a NAS colour, so you would have got that on some of the North American specification Defenders. So it's really got a really beautiful provenance. So France is one of the few countries in Europe where they've translated all of their inspection records onto a digital system. There's a website called HistoryVec, and some of you may be familiar with it, but you can get all the history from the vehicle from almost new. So this one has got technical inspection history since 2000, starting at 30,000 kilometers, and it's now 135,000 kilometers, and I think the history goes up to when it was put into storage, which was around 5 years ago. So it's got at least 10 to 15 service stamps, which basically confirm the mileage. It's currently at 84,000 miles or 135,000 kilometers. So it's barely worn in really, and it's very hard to find them in this condition these days. So what I'll do to make it clear is I'll point out what's original, what's not, what we've improved, just so you've got a clarity between that. For example, these boost wheels, they're a later design. They started using them on the TD5s, and then they used them on the Pumas all the way up until 2015. It's mounted on what you would have got from the factory on late TD5s and Pumas, which is a Continental cross-contact AT. So it's kind of an mainly on-road tyre, but also good for like mild off-road use. And again, it's a 235/85/16, which is a good size for ride and also stance. Really happy with how the chassis come out on this. We've just really preserved it and made sure that it's going to be bulletproof for the next decade. So we haven't lifted the body, but what we have done is taken exhaust off, taken lots of stuff off, and taped up the rest, sandblasted the chassis in situ, and then treated it rust preventative primer, and then a top Dinitrol product top coat. The date stamp, for example, which is HY95, is super clean and visible. New bumper with, I'm just going to spin around, new bumper with stainless steel fixings. Just a good thing to have, really. I mean, without stainless steel fixings, you get rust marks really quickly and it looks scrappy. Nice to see the plugs for the chassis end there. We've got a guard that came with the car, so we've just left it on there. A lot of people like those. And then all stainless steel fixings for the grille and the light surrounds. New lights because they just faded, and so I think some of them are cracked. White pack original headlights in really good condition, actually. Often they rust inside and then they start looking rubbish. In terms of the paintwork, it's really exceptional. I guess red is a forgiving colour in terms of it's a solid colour, so it can be polished easily. We did have, I think there was only one nasty area on the car, which was down here. There was a dent, but we've had it paintless, dent repaired, and then subsequently we've had some paint done, localised. You can't actually tell, to be honest. It's very well brought together. Wings are no dents, which is rare. Bonnet's also immaculate. Again, stainless steel fixings on the bonnet. These actually have not been off. Often we paint these, but this is original. I say original, I mean, I'm sure it's fitted as a dealer option or by one of the previous owners, but the checker plate wing tops are original in terms of we haven't put them on. We may have changed a few rivets if they were worn, but they look good. In terms of practicality, they're ideal because you can obviously put a lot more weight on there and you're not going to put any dents in the wing tops. If we come round, we've got actually original hinges. We often change them, but when the car's got original paint and the hinges actually are in really decent shape, it seems a shame to. So they're original. You can see the gaskets haven't got any paint, which is always a nice telltale sign that there hasn't been any average paint work done. Again, stainless steel fixings just to stop any rust marks from the thread on the bolts. Mirrors are actually, they are original, which is nice. So they introduced it in when did they introduce it? I think it might be the first year they introduced it, 94 and 95. They introduced the VIN plate in the windscreen. I presume it was probably a safety requirement in a lot of markets. But prior to that, you didn't have it. You only had it on the chassis and on the master cylinder, the brake master cylinder. Original decals, pretty faded to be honest, but they're there. If anyone wanted fresh decals, we can absolutely do that. We could even consider removing them for a buyer, and it probably would polish up okay because it hasn't had any paintwork on the doors. There's little dings in the door like here. I mean, I'm very reluctant to ever do crazy paintwork to vehicles like this because they're only original once, and that's true. You can't unpaint them, as they say. So yeah, I think you just embrace it. Little nick there. What's really nice, we can see all the factory spot welds, which is really nice, and that just tells you there hasn't been any paintwork. Because often if there's been paintwork once, they get a little bit lost, and then if it's been paintwork a few times, they disappear. All the rivets are really good. This car seems to have been really lucky. There's not any crazy galvanic corrosion. So often where the door frame is steel and the door skin is aluminium, the two metals aren't friends, and they tend to cause like reaction at the bottom of the doors. But this hasn't got any, which is, I guess it probably was garaged. But then sometimes it's not that easy, they just get lucky. We've done a new rear cross member, which is just prone area. You'd be very lucky to see a Defender that's got away without a replacement one after, 25 years. But other details, I mean, we've still got the original diesel fuel badge. It's faded a little bit, but it's always a bit of a balance. What do you change, what do you keep? I'm a big sucker for originality, so I love it. Again, all the rivets here, just beautiful. And down here, chassis is really nice. It's come up a treat, very, very happy. And then we'll just go around to the back and show you what's going on at the back. So that is a new decal. It originally would have been silver, but I think on red, black works really well. Lights are new, Y-pack. Stainless steel fixings for the hinges. Hinges are original, but we've changed that bolt there, which is the one that wears. Stainless steel fixings for the cross member. Beautiful rivets, spot welds, which you can see. And then the door, there's a few little reaction spots, which is to be expected. It's an original door, which is extremely rare, because the door seems to be where it goes. And you can see a bit of reaction, which will be visible in the photos. Interestingly, we've had quite a few inquiries. People want to turn it into a soft top. I guess it's just that time of year, which is not off the cards. And there's a few ways you could do it. You could just replace the door, which is probably nicer, or you could cut the door in half. But it's a bit, I mean, it's not terrible, but I guess the advantage is it preserves the paint. But at the same time, it's quite a good opportunity to resolve some of the only reaction on the door skin, because the other doors are all fine. So I'd be quite up for that option if it was me. So onto the interior. Door card is new. Original one had gone missing. Not too uncommon. It's a grey one to match the front doors. Bottom sill is new, and the retainer plate, which is aluminium, that just smartens it up. And then we've got a standard rubber mat, and then black vinyl benches, which match the black vinyl front seats. Tub is in very good condition. There's only standard scrapes, there's no big dents or anything. Got all the panelling, which is nice. The county panelling around the windows. And then a black Alcantara synthetic suede headliner, which is just a nice finish. It's always a bit of a question whether you do it original, but the original material is just really prone to sagging and separating from the board. And then the second thing is, in terms of like usability, practicality, it's very light, cream, beige. You're gonna, like, if any kids touch it, it's gonna look rubbish very quickly. So yeah, our default seems to be black Alcantara. So the front is a very, very standard Continental Defender affair. We've got black vinyl seats, and then we've got a premium, I think they call it a chubby cubby box, sounds a bit weird, but it's basically you've got the higher armrest, which is actually ergonomically really good because your arms are almost the same on the window and the armrest. Cup holders, storage, carpeted inside, steering wheel's original. Got a kilometre clock in here, it's the original one, showing 132,826 kilometres to be precise. Everything's operating, so the heater, lever, fogs, turn signals. That always seems to be a big question when buying an unrestored Defender, is does everything work? Yes, everything works. as it should. Moving on to the footwells, they also get me very excited because there hasn't been any paintwork. Which is rare. You can see here, this is the oxidization I was explaining. So where there's steel bolts and aluminium floors, it starts reacting. It's nothing to worry about. It's nice that it's there rather than on the door skins, but very common. But yeah, it hasn't been, a lot of them get it very badly. This one's had it very lightly. We've changed all the fixings to stainless steel, which just smartens it up. These vinyl covers are original. They normally go, really, I mean, they normally go in the corner here. They're really rare to see one. Changed the seat rails to stainless steel. Someone at the workshop's gonna get in trouble because they've missed the handle for the heater, but we'll make sure that's put on. Details, people, details. Coming around to the passenger side, similar affair. Stainless steel fixings. Got the rubber mat still here. Let's take that out. Yes, as you can see, original floors, you can tell because there's just a little light oxidation, steel and aluminium are meeting. Changed all for stainless steel. Again, really pristine seat box vinyl cover, which is really rare. And then again, stainless steel for the seat rails. We'll do the door test. They're only original ones. Beautiful. Okay, I think again, it's the final part. The engine bay, as we mentioned at the start, it's got the 300 TDI. It's a 95, so it's about a year and a half into 300 TDI production. Don't hold me to it. It's the model without the EGR valve. So the later ones had electronic exhaust gas recirculation, which a lot of people don't like and delete it. In terms of eligibility, it needs to be shipped as it was delivered from the factory. So if it's got the EGR valve, it needs to go with it. If it hasn't, it needs to go without it. Deleting it is a bit of a no-no in terms of customs. We've got a new lift pump. I think it was playing up. It's been serviced. I actually just realised when it went into storage. So it went into storage in France in 2017 and then re-emerged this year. And I've just seen this, which is quite nice. It's the last service. So it says the 26th of the 2nd, 2017. Lovely. At 105,000 kilometers. So that's nice. And then you can tell this one's very original because we've got all the stickers. So you've got all the stickers for the coolant, the antifreeze, warning attention ones about the swivel housing, where it's been serviced, air cleaner, genuine parts used on the heater. This is the heater box, so that's where coolant runs in there, goes through a radiator and then pumps hot air into the cab. Another little sticker on the bulkhead. It hasn't. This one hasn't been like massively. We haven't cleaned it to an inch of its life. It's very honest. Still got the original engine cover. You can have a look underneath actually if you want. So there we go. Brake master cylinder, not something we've changed, but it doesn't look, it looks new-ish. Doesn't look, I wouldn't say it's original. And then there's your stamp, your plate stamp for the VIN. Just for people that are wondering, and maybe it might be the first time of seeing a Defender engine bay, that's your power steering, ZF power steering reservoir, your fuel filters here, coolant, screen wash. Yeah, I said it was the sticker, but the air filters in there. Okay, let's go take it for a drive now, and I'll talk you through some of the driving characteristics of a 300 TDI. Okay, so we'll now take it for a quick drive. We'll go through the gears, start it up, and just show you what it's like. So, as with all diesels, just wait for the coil light to go out, and then we'll fires into life, and off we go. Very light controls on the 300 TDI. I think as I've been going on about, you just can't, they're only original ones. And for whatever reason, you just can't beat it. So that's third, then I'll put it into fourth. Lovely. Really smooth. I'm pretty sure we've got new shock absorbers on this. Into fifth. Lovely. We've got the air vents open, which is actually great. We haven't got AC in this, but the air vents make a tremendous difference because you basically get in. The faster you go, the colder you get. So for a summer's day, it's great. That's about 50 kilometers an hour in fifth, getting up to 60. Really nice place to be. I really noticed the difference with 90 in terms of weight. It's definitely my favourite configuration. I know the 110s have got a lot of stance, but you just can't beat a 90 for drivability, usability. I hope you enjoyed that little walk around and driving video. That brings us to an end. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, follow us on Instagram.